Oh, it's all kicking off now. Two Commander starters removed from the official team locker room. Teams making trade offers to the Commanders, and who could they get in returns for BRob and Terry McLaurin? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. There is less than 1 week until the 53-man rosters are due, which means that I will be coming out with my predictions for the Commanders roster maybe later today or tomorrow. Haven't figured it out. But it does also mean that teams around the league are really trying to ramp up their efforts to land their trade targets, whoever that may be. And in the case of the Commanders, we know that they have two valuable commodities, Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson. The interest is heating up around the league. We're going to jump into all of those topics and a whole lot more. Make sure you guys get all of the details that you could ever ask for on what is going on with those conversations. Let's start it off with Brian Robinson. This is according to the NFL Network's Mike Garafolo. Garafolo? Is it like Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm not totally sure. But Mike here says, quote, "There's certainly interest in Brian Robinson Jr. from other teams. They're asking questions about why he fell out of favor in Washington and what kind of fit he might be for them." Well, let's answer that question. What did go wrong? Nothing went wrong in the sense that nothing really changed. There was just more of a realization and further confirmation, if anything, that BRob was not the guy for this offense. He was very consistently who he was. He averaged 3.7 yards per carry as a rookie, 3.9 yards per carry in his second year, 4.1 last year. You can look at that. Actually, did I do him a disservice? Did he get to 4.3 last year? Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. So he averaged 3.9 as a rookie, 4.1 in his second year, 4.3 last year. So there was linear improvement. He was consistently going up. However, 4.3 still was not good. He was 44th of 50 players in the league in carries that went for 1 yard or less. More than 1/3 of his carries went for 1, 0, or negative yards. And also he averaged a half yard per carry less on runs from shotgun versus when the quarterback was under center. And as we know with Jaden Daniels, the Commanders will be running a lot of shotgun. So just stylistically, this just wasn't going to work out. Even if Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is racking up negative runs, he's also going to get you the explosive plays, which we saw in that Bengals game. And that explosion, that even the threat of it, combined with Jaden Daniels and a new and improved offensive line, is a lot better than just consistently getting 3 to 4 yards every time BRob touches the ball. So, again, nothing really went wrong from that perspective. There was just a general realization that he's not the guy for this team moving forward. Now, what's very interesting about all this is that this reporter, Mike Garafolo, implied that if BRob isn't traded, he's probably going to be cut. He will not be on the 53-man roster. And, of course, another team will sign him and find a new home for him. This is where it really starts to heat up, though. According to WUSA 9's Chick Hernandez, both BRob and Terry McLaurin don't have lockers in the Commanders' locker room right now. The Terry situation, I get, because he's not there with the team. He hasn't been throughout the entire offseason and now into training camp in the preseason. So you don't want an unnecessary distraction. You don't want an empty locker distracting everyone's focus. But for BRob to now be included in that list, things must have escalated pretty quickly, because back during training camp, he was very excited, very positive, very happy to be there. Before the Patriots game, either the Patriots game or the Patriots joint practice, I can't remember. But I do remember reading a bunch of reporters saying that he was the most energetic and enthusiastic during that setting, or in that setting rather. And for him to now all of a sudden be mutually agreed upon to be held out of the Bengals preseason game and now not have a locker in the team locker room, there's no way back. There's an indication that he's not going to be on the team. Again, whether it's via trade or being released, he will not be there. It's not as if there was a scandal happened and he had to be held away from the team or he was suspended or whatever. No, they just got rid of his locker. And that doesn't happen for no reason. So Brian Robinson Jr., for the 3 years that you spent here in Washington, allow me to say on behalf of fans, thank you. We wish you the best. Just the most traumatic start to a career possible, surviving being shot. So you already succeeded. You already got a lot of money. Good luck to you wherever you may end up. That report from Chick Hernandez there that both BRob and Terry don't have lockers, that is a good transition to the Terry McLaurin situation, which is where things, there's more developments that could happen, I could say. because if a trade does happen, it's going to be a large haul. There is also a way back for Terry, which is, of course, the contract extension, which everyone has been waiting for. I said in my video yesterday that it looks like league sources believe that he's worth about $27 to $28 million. Those sources being GMs and front office decision makers. $27 to $28 million average annual value for Terry. He and his representation reportedly have not been willing to go that low. The Commanders haven't been willing to go above $30 million. This is all reports, not my personal reports. So we're waiting to see what happens on that situation. With that being said, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero said that the Minnesota Vikings are actively pursuing a veteran wide receiver on the trade market. Here's what he says, quote, "No trade is imminent, but Minnesota is actively looking to add a veteran receiver with 6 days until the roster cut down. This was prompted by Jordan Addison's upcoming suspension and injuries to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Naylor, meaning their top 3 receivers all currently not available. Now, Jefferson is on track to make a week 1 debut, but he is banged up nonetheless. You want to make JJ McCarthy's life as easy as you possibly can, because even though this is his second season, it's actually almost worse for him than being a rookie. Yes, he was in the meeting rooms and everything last year, but he didn't play football last year because he suffered a torn meniscus, I believe it was, ACL, meniscus, knee injury that held him out for the entire year. So not only is he making the transition to college or from college to the NFL with no snaps between, like this is his rookie season, and yes, he has more time he's had more time in the classroom, but he's coming off a major knee injury, didn't get to play. You don't even know if he has the confidence in his body right now, much less his ability to adapt mentally to the professional level. So Kevin O'Connell, genius offensive mind. I have no doubt that he's going to install a great scheme. The Vikings have an extremely talented team with a good offensive line and a good running back punch with Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in football. TJ Hawkinson's really good. But if you can get another weapon, which you saw they wanted to, that's why they drafted Jordan Addison in the first place, former Biletnikoff winner at Pitt, and then had a great stint at USC, I believe, with Caleb Williams. Terry McLaurin would certainly be able to help bring the best out of JJ McCarthy, whatever that is. We know that because we saw him do it with Jaden Daniels last year. So the Vikings could be a team that are in on the Terry sweepstakes. Now, again, this is not my report. This is according to Tom Pelissero. He did not specifically name Terry, but he said veteran receivers. And let's be honest here, we know Terry's kind of at the top of that list. So the question now becomes, who would the Commanders want in a trade with the Vikings? Who would they want to bring back? I think the very obvious, most attractive trade piece they have that they might be willing to let go of and that the Commanders would make use out of, Andrew Van Ginkel, 30-year-old linebacker, did some great work rushing the quarterback last year, had 11.5 sacks, plays with unrelenting physicality and tenacity. I know that edge rusher room right now is kind of stuffed because there are a lot of guys around the same level, but Van Ginkel would actually be a star, and he fits the MO the Commanders want to play with. And at 30 years old, he does still have a few years of top-level play left under his belt. The 11.5 sacks he had last year was a career high, so he is still getting better. It wouldn't just be Van Ginkel. I would assume it would be Van Ginkel and maybe a 4th-round pick. I'm not totally sure. Again, this is just my opinion on that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I haven't done any plugs yet, so guys, if you have made it this far and you are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. I'm coming out with daily uploads, everything you need to know about the latest headlines, updates from practice, reviews, recaps of the games, previews. Also, like I said, I am going to be putting out my 53-man roster predictions, all that stuff. So do hit the subscribe button. And the number one way to support me is by hitting the like button. So please do that if you have not already. So another team that could be interested in bidding for Terry looks like it could be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's been obvious ever since they traded away George Pickens, which I do understand why you wouldn't want to have Pickens around. It's just funny that the Steelers, for like one day, fixed their receiver room by having Pickens and DK, and then they trade Pickens, and now they're looking to get another new receiver. But Terry, again, he's at the top of the list for pretty much any team who's looking to make a trade for a veteran receiver. This is according to 937 The Fan's Andrew Filipponi, who is a Steelers reporter. He said the Commanders are reportedly asking for a 2nd-round pick and Pat Freirmuth. That does not make sense to me. Let me say that. The Commanders have Zach Ertz as their receiving tight end. They have John Bates as a really good blocking tight end, and they have Ben Sinnott as their developmental player who can do all of those things, and they expect to hopefully take over the reins maybe by the end of this year, certainly next year at the latest, a second-round draft pick of a year ago. So their wide receiver or their tight end room should be set. Now, whether it pans out 2 years from now is a different story. But Freirmuth is not an elite tight end. He's solid. He had 653 yards, 7 touchdowns last season. Part of that was because the Steelers weren't throwing to the receivers a whole lot. And still, 653 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's worse than what Zach Ertz did last season. So I don't think this is actually correct that the Commanders are asking for that. I believe that's more on the side of that's what the Steelers are offering, or that's maybe where negotiations have landed at the current point. Again, a second-round pick and Pat Freirmuth. I would ideally take out Freirmuth, keep the second-round pick in there, and then look for a different player who I'm not going to speculate on because these are the reports and I don't want to change that. But I'm just saying, as it stands right now, that package would not be enough for me. The 49ers and the Jets may also be in the Terry McLaurin sweepstake. This is according to The Athletic's Diana Rossini. 49ers and Jets in the hunt to land a veteran receiver. Now, these are my thoughts, not a report. If the 49ers are the team that the Commanders end up making a trade with, I would think CJ West, who is a rookie 4th-round defensive tackle from Indiana, and a 2026 second-round pick would be a good haul. Now, I know you're asking yourself, well, the Steelers also offered a second-round pick, and Freirmuth is at least established. Why would you want a rookie 4th-round defensive tackle? Well, allow me to explain. The general assumption is that Daron Payne's not going to be on the roster next year. We can say that Daron Payne is overpaid, but he is still a solid starter in the NFL. So that means that Javon Kinlaw is going to be there next year. Johnny Newton, you're hoping he hits that level and he's the next guy. After that, you're looking at a rotation of Eddie Goldman and Sheldon Day. The Commanders are either going to go out and sign a free agent, albeit one that's probably not worth that much money because you already paid big money to Kinlaw and you drafted Newton in the second round, so you're expecting those to be your starters. You can get a depth piece right here with CJ West, who was really good for Indiana. And Indiana played a very light schedule. I know it was a huge debate on if they deserve to be in the college football playoff or not. But they were one of the best run defenses in all of college football, and that held up in the playoffs for the most part. And CJ West was really good. He was a huge part of that. So I think that with the Commanders' struggles at stopping the run, he could be a savvy pickup there. But obviously, they would also need to include a second-round pick to make it worth it. So that would be the 49ers. Oh, what also makes this interesting? Sorry, I lost my place in my notes here. What else makes this interesting is the 49ers might have a level of interest in trading for Brian Robinson. It would be funny to see BRob and Terry both go to the Niners. And one of my friends texted me, like, can you imagine we get Ayuk back? So the Commanders now have Debo and Ayuk, and the 49ers now have BRob and Terry. That would be really weird. But the thing about the 49ers, the reason they would want BRob allegedly is their only healthy running back right now is Christian McCaffrey. And let's be honest, don't wish this on anybody, but history suggests that Christian McCaffrey's next injury is probably not that far away. The 49ers just signed someone, I think Patrick Taylor, and within a week or two of being signed, he was out for the season with an injury. So they're really banged up. And if it does become a BRob McLaurin trade package, you could get an even larger haul back. I don't know what exactly that would be, but the 49ers are definitely an interesting team to keep an eye on. And then the New York Jets, they're also potentially in this mess as well. I don't really know who the Commanders would want back because the Jets do have a lot of solid players on their defense. The problem is I don't know who they would be willing to part ways with. Obviously, you're not getting Sauce Gardner. I don't know. Would you want Quincy Williams? Maybe he's somebody who steps out. Michael Carter's a good player, but you don't need a nickel back when you have Mike Sainer still. You could ask for Josh Reynolds just to get another veteran receiver coming back your way and at least give you more options. But he's also 30 years old, and it's not like he's an outstanding player. He had 194 receiving yards last year. That's what Luke McCaffrey had. So there's a lot of potential partners out there, nothing substantial in the sense that we don't know for sure this is what has been offered. This is what the Commanders are looking for. However, we do know that there are teams in the hunt to land a veteran receiver. And as I said already, Terry McLaurin is the most attractive option on the market of those possibilities. And let me not even say on the market, because the Commanders have reiterated that they are not looking to trade Terry, but he did demand a trade, and maybe that incentivizes other teams to make an offer that the Commanders can't refuse. So as these situations continue to go on, I will come back to you and I will share all of the reports. Make sure that you guys are in the loop with the latest and breaking news. If you enjoy that and you want to return the favor to me, do hit the like button on this video. Again, that is the #1 way to support me. Go to the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on these trade talks. What are you looking to get? Do you want BRob gone? Do you want Terry gone? Whatever it is, do put it in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.